Have you ever heard a story that feels both familiar and magical, no matter how many times you hear it? Today, we're diving into one of the most enchanting fairy tales ever told, the story of Rapunzel. It all begins with a poor elderly couple. The wife had a desperate craving for the delicious Rapunzel lettuce growing in their neighbor's garden. Driven by love for his wife, the husband snuck into the garden to steal some. But this was no ordinary garden. It belonged to a powerful witch named Dame Gothel. She caught him red-handed and, in a rage, made a terrifying demand. In exchange for the lettuce, they must give her their firstborn child. The couple, terrified, had no choice but to agree. Soon, a beautiful baby girl was born. True to her word, the witch appeared and took the child, naming her Rapunzel after the very plant her mother had craved. Dame Gothel locked the little girl away in a tall, secluded tower deep in the forest. This tower had no doors and no stairs, only a single window at the very top. As Rapunzel grew, so did her hair, which shone like spun gold. It grew longer and longer, cascading down the tower walls. When the witch wanted to enter, she would stand at the base and call out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel would then unpin her magnificent braids and let them tumble down, allowing the witch to climb up. For years, Rapunzel lived in isolation, her only company being the witch and the birds of the forest. To pass the lonely hours, she would sing with a voice so beautiful and pure that it captivated all who heard it. One day, a handsome prince was riding through the forest when he heard her enchanting melody. Drawn by the sound, he found the mysterious tower but could see no way to enter. He was completely mesmerized. He returned to the tower day after day, hiding and listening to her sing. One evening, he saw the witch arrive and heard her famous call. He watched in amazement as a golden ladder of hair fell from the window, and the witch climbed up. The prince had discovered the secret. The next day at dusk, he went to the tower and mimicked the witch's voice, calling, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." The hair fell, and he climbed up into the chamber. At first, Rapunzel was frightened to see a stranger, a man whose face she had never seen before. But the prince spoke to her with such kindness and gentleness, telling her how her singing had touched his heart. His sincerity won her over, and as they talked, they quickly fell in love. He proposed marriage, and she happily accepted. They devised a plan for her escape. Each time he visited, he would bring a skein of silk, which she would weave into a ladder. But their secret was not safe for long. One day, without thinking, Rapunzel said to the witch, "You are so much heavier to pull up than the young prince." The witch flew into a furious rage. In her fury, she took a pair of shears and she cut off Rapunzel's glorious long hair. Then she cruelly cast the poor girl out into a desolate, wild part of the forest to fend for herself. That evening, the prince arrived and called out as usual. The witch, full of malice, let down the severed braids. When the prince climbed up, he wasn't met by his beloved Rapunzel, but by the furious witch. She mocked him, telling him he would never see Rapunzel again. In despair, the prince leaped from the tower. He survived the fall, but landed in a patch of thorns that blinded him. For years, the blind prince wandered the wilderness, heartbroken and alone, surviving on roots and berries. His only comfort was the memory of Rapunzel's voice. He called her name constantly, hoping to find her. One day, as he stumbled through a remote part of the forest, he heard a familiar, beautiful voice singing a sad, sweet song. He followed the sound, and there she was, his Rapunzel, who had been living a humble life with the twins she had given birth to. They ran into each other's arms, weeping with joy and sorrow. As Rapunzel cried, 2 of her tears fell into the prince's eyes. In that moment, a miracle occurred. The magic in her tears healed him, and his sight was restored. He could see his beloved Rapunzel's face once more. He then took her and their children back to his kingdom, where they were welcomed with great joy, and they lived happily ever after, their love finally triumphant over all hardship. What a beautiful story of love, loss, and reunion. It just goes to show that even in the darkest of times, hope and love can lead us back to the light. Thank you so much for watching with me today. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the world of fairy tales. See you next time.